I just called
to say
I
love you.
I love you. I'd like sometimes. Would you like to be able to use something like this to scoop your heart out and put it on a plate for your loved one? Yeah, I'm feeling strange today. It was our late night mental health chat. It set me all up, all weird and funny, and I was lying in bed for ages. All our regulars are here.
No, there. It's last night.
Yeah, all of them. Everyone was there. Yeah. Marcia Toms, Tired Mummy, more Jimmy. Give us more Jimmy, Jimmy. Tracy B, Amy Cheetham, Kay Harper, Joanna Blackburn. That's reality.
It wasn't the grass that tickled your ass. It was
my finger.
Finger.
When you think about that, it's pretty disgusting. I don't get up until you're live, Karen McGrath. There's no reason to. If I'm honest, there is zero reason to. Because what we're going to do now is what we do for Izzy. Apparently she watches COFFEED-19. We're going to give you a distillation of what nonsense is out there making people gibber and jabber and wibber and wabber. I've been in the garden this morning, gardening, tidying, doing a stock take for a green-fingered hell with my mate, Bill, from prison. He was with me. He was alongside me. Yeah, my alter ego in the garden. Morning from Riverbank Books in Market Drayton, Sam Sherry. What a specific place to be, and it sounds truly lovely. I want to be there. Are you a bookshop? Ashley Gardner spat my drink out everywhere last night watching the vlog. Ashley, if I say so myself, I was laughing. You know that moment?
I want to sit down and watch it.
You really do. Watch it with the girls. That moment where I lose it and make the weirdest high-pitched sound. I lost it again watching other parts of it.
Oh, what, when you were laughing?
Yeah, i.e. putting up the song. Jackie Sheehan, we have to film the bloody song. We were so traumatised by what we watched. And I'm a bit cheeky in the video. I don't even show a clip of it. I just put a graphic up saying it was too awful to show anything. It starts well with us getting up in the morning, and then it just degenerates into total turgid
Have you shown them the bit where we get up in the morning?
No, I haven't shown them anything.
Oh, you haven't? That's not on the vlog.
No, I take us to the very moment we're about to watch it, and then I just have our reaction as the girls say.
No, the bit that we filmed.
No, I haven't shown them anything. Absolutely nothing. No.
I'm having a cappuccino.
Cappy wappy woo.
This gorgeous mug that today I'm going to put a swipe up on where you can get it because they're so beautiful, and it was a gift, and I keep forgetting to do it. And the lovely lady that did it for us.
Gabrielle, what's making me angry today? Okay, I'm going to tell you what. Thank you so much to everyone for a really meaningful chat last night. I hope there was something useful in our mental health chat. It really helped me. I started feeling very low, and I ended feeling very not high, but I ended up feeling, and your comments, your sharebacks, the information. I thought it was a really meaningful chat, guys, and it's very much there for the end of Mental Health Awareness Week for people to go to. And I hope, and I like to think there are a few strategies in there that have come up in my life that might be helpful to some others. I used the quote about up until the age of 40, I worried what other people think, and after 40, I started to worry about what I think of other people.
Yeah, well, that's something we have to live by.
Yeah, it's a really good one.
I'd forgotten about one.
Oh, Julie Everts, you feel much better. Brilliant. So do go and check that out. It's there as a resource tool, and beneath it, there is a number for the Samaritans. Don't think that calling the Samaritans is about you. I spoke to someone the other day. No, and also I spoke to someone the other day who felt bad about phoning the Samaritans. Think of the Samaritans as a spiritual and emotional citizens advice bureau. You go there and they will facilitate your contact with another organisation that will be able to tailor their care for you. You know, it might be Mind, it might be AA or whatever.
Sorry, I just love that. Chris Scullick. Toast and tea done. Now relax with you guys.
Boom,
I love that.
boom,
It makes me feel
shackety
really
boom.
cosy that you're having a cup of tea, we're having a cup of
Do you feel cosy?
Yeah.
Oh, she feels
I feel
cosy
cozy.
in a leopardy top. Just
I'm wearing
quickly,
it again today, even though I'm trying to force my family to like it. Yeah. They won't like it, and I love it.
I like it. I like it.
Has anyone ever said, I like it, sounding more like they didn't like it than he just did?
I think I like the hood. I like the hood.
Do you think I look horrible in it?
No, it's a bit combat-y. I mean, you look a bit like you're going to go running in the jungle.
Do I look fat?
No, you don't look fat, darling. You've
Don't
lost
look
lots
at
of
me
weight.
when I ask you that.
No,
Do
you
I look
don't
fat
look
in
fat. Oh my
He thinks I look fat in it.
I don't.
He does.
Oh my God. Kirsty Guest, of course you can have a shout out. You've been in hospital since yesterday with a collapsed lung. Oh my God.
Who has?
Kirsty.
Oh my God. I
Kirsty
used
Guest.
to share a house with somebody whose lung was always collapsing. It was awful, and he'd be just lying
Is
there.
that an irreparable thing? Or
No,
does it
no,
know?
they blow it up again almost, don't they?
Wow,
But it's something you don't want.
You got up and wandered over there.
Because I
Why?
wanted to show people my tracksuit that I hadn't seen.
Oh, well, go on then. Do it again. We missed it. I'll tell you why I'm angry in a minute. Not really, really
So
angry.
look,
but
this is my tracksuit.
she's showing off how
It's
thin
got
she is.
pockets. And it's, Maddie says that orange stripe is
You might have
horrible.
to. Yeah, it's the orange stripe I'm not a fan of.
But I quite like it.
Where's it from?
Look, it's got my little thunderbolt. Do you remember when we went to that influencers show and that woman was talking, she'd had brain tumour, she'd been separated from her children, she started up this company, Scamp and Dude. Do you remember? She was really interesting. And this was like, it signifies
Vaguely.
her, what happened to her.
Right.
So, and then quite a bit of what she makes goes to charity.
Well, I mean, that's great. I mean, I don't want to knock it.
Scamp and Dude, lots of people on Instagram know Scamp. It is expensive, it did cost a lot, I have to say.
Sarah Jordan laughing. I was laughing out loud at your last. Here's the thing. I'm angry about Dominic Cummings.
Oh, hang on a minute. I just want to say, who was that lady that just said she thinks my thing is very nice? Thank you, Suzanne Stone. Yes, you can't beat a comfy lounge suit.
No, you can't. I'm angry about Dominic Cummings. Can I have a quick poll?
I find it so delicious what he's done. You better explain first what he's done.
So Dominic Cummings was found,
is.
who is Boris Johnson's senior advisor. So he is to Boris Johnson what Alistair Campbell was to Tony Blair. And we all hated Alistair Campbell back then.
And the important thing is here, he's not a public sector worker,
No.
so he doesn't get paid by us. He gets paid privately by Boris, which
He's an
makes
employee.
a big difference to the story.
Yeah, he isn't a public service. Though his influence on the public is probably
Massive.
greater than Boris Johnson's, which is
And-
the lunacy of our so-called democracy.
And it's well known that in the Houses of Parliament, people hate him.
Oh, they
He's
loathe him.
bossy. And there's been a lot of discussion about how odd it is that he goes to the SAGE meetings that Boris doesn't go. Oh, this is, of course, all hearsay. We don't know this is fact. But this is what the rumours are. That he goes to the SAGE meetings, the
translates
science meetings,
scientific
and then he
advice.
translates the scientific advice to Boris,
Yeah.
and then they come up with policy. But they are like this,
Yeah.
apparently.
Yeah. So he, when having the symptoms, or had he tested positive? I don't think
Symptoms
he had
of
the symptoms.
coronavirus.
He drove 250 miles up to Durham
To stay with his mum and dad.
parents. Now,
Let's just let that settle.
just think about that. What have we all been
What
not doing? What have we
the
all not been doing?
What do you think of that?
Xander.
We were dying to hear what you all thought, weren't
Do
we,
as I
this
say,
morning?
not as I do. So, yeah, what? Yeah, absolutely, Gabrielle. So,
Granine Scarlett, no offence to your politicians, but that was a joke, folks. Granine is not from here, obviously, but can you just believe it? Can you believe it?
you sound like Victor Meldrew.
No, but I mean, it's so. We had the,
Yeah,
we had the health
I'm
minister.
still letting it settle in.
We had the scientist in Scotland. What was her job?
Yeah,
Who was
yeah.
kept going to her country house.
Yeah.
I still don't think she should have gone, actually, because apparently she was a bit of a
Now,
British.
here's the
But
reason-
this is the problem with it for me, okay? If they
thought I was
policy
angry.
makers, I'm amused. If the policy makers, because we had the scientist last week who was going off to shag his missus, didn't we? He had to lose his job. So if the people that have told us this is what we need to do to be safe, and they're not doing it, then are we all safe if we do it?
Precisely. And they're leading by example. This is the bit that makes me angry, that there is a chattering class in this country that feels they are above what everyone else has to do. This, for me, more than anything else, tells us that this out-of-touch Etonite government, just because Dominic Cummings wears stupid hats and floppy shit and looks a bit like a hippie, he's a trustafarian, they are all so profoundly out of fucking step with the rest of the country. They want everyone else to do as they say, but for them, it's a
wanna do
different
it
set
how
of
they
rules.
do it.
It's a different set of rules. And that's why I think if he's not fired, I think Boris is going to have an enormous crisis on his hands.
Faith Goodman says, Dominic Cummings is like Nigel Hawthorne in Yes, Prime Minister, exactly. Only we loved him and the character, yeah.
Yeah, we loved him because he was so ridiculously extreme, though, wasn't he? You just couldn't believe it.
You couldn't believe
You
anyone
couldn't
behaved
believe
like
it.
Ashley says we need a new government.
Well, if the opposition, if Keir Starmer...
Welcome to family guest Bethany Crosslands.
Bethany
Welcome,
Crossland.
honey.
If Keir Starmer doesn't land, hit the ground running on this one,
But here's a
swiping
question,
with a
you would
baseball
know
bat
this.
left, right and centre, what the hell can we do?
Because Mark studied politics and I don't know anything about politics at all. I'm just interested in the...
God, here we go. She's going to ask one of those really odd
No, I'm
questions
just
that no one knows
interested
the
in the
answer
way.
to.
Obviously, we have to be interested in politics because it affects our lives. But I
Yes.
mean, I don't know the facts and I'm not
Right.
educated in it. But because he is a private member of Boris's staff,
Yes.
does Keir Starmer have the?
He absolutely
does
has
he
the
have
right.
the authority, the right to question it
Absolutely.
and hammer like he would if he was a public
Of course,
servant?
of course he
exactly
can.
the
Yeah,
same.
yeah. Oh, absolutely, yeah. Just as Tony Blair was constantly being hammered for his press advisor, Alistair Campbell.
Who I now love.
The problem is of course that Boris has a curious. He's got a curious couple of choices here. He can either do his buffoonery and bebazzlement and go and sort of say, well, actually, strictly speaking, this wasn't, he's not a public servant. He can either acknowledge that he is the sort of Svengali spin doctor at the centre of his government, or put him out to dry. Because at the end of the day, I think what will probably happen is they will fine him. They will try and make him look like he's paid his whatever, and try and then knuckle down, make him sort of go quiet for a bit, and just hope that people
still be
forget.
there doing everything.
I mean,
Right.
the terrible sadness of the fact is that the press lose interest in stories after approximately 3 or 4 days.
I don't think they will with this one. Though.
Well, I don't think they should with this one.
Lisa Cadman, it's not that he went to his parents. No, it's not for me either.
No,
It's that he had
the
symptoms.
symptoms.
And if he broke down or had an accent, he would transmit the virus to helpers, but also to his parents.
Well, no.
I mean, that's the problem. It's not that he went to see his parents. If he went in his isolated car and he went to his,
Well, no,
that's
but at the
his
time,
choice.
at the time that he
knew
went,
had
he was. No, but hang
coronavirus.
on, no, forget that. I totally disagree.
Well, I don't
At
really
the time
think
that
I'm
he
trying
went,
to be.
at the time that he went, everyone else in the country was making sacrifices. This is the problem in families.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it, and it's not about I don't want you to have. It's not like that. It's like if I'm making a sacrifice, how can we sanction people not willing to do that? It just comes across as entitled.
But add to that he had coronavirus symptoms and he went
Yeah.
to his elderly parents, because how old is he? He's in his 50s,
Yeah.
so his parents are definitely going to be in their 70s.
I'm surprised he went to his parents.
It's so
Why didn't he just go back to
weird.
his flat?
Well, apparently he went to his parents and he had an apartment. They must be very wealthy.
Oh, right.
Maybe he had a completely secluded apartment and he never saw them. We don't know.
Francisca Bastos, I'm not British and I'm not into everything that's going on, but I think this phase is showing us our humanity. You see who's coherent. Well, I think it goes back to the thing Nadia said at the beginning. What you are doesn't change in this crisis. If you're selfish and entitled, what's being proven here is that the truly selfish and the most truly entitled have no capacity to see themselves for what they are. They have no self-reflexivity. This is one of the problems I have with, not all, but it's a problem I had with my grandparents. I have a huge problem with extreme right-wing and extreme left-wing politics and politicians. Is that
anything.
Extreme, but no, I don't mean extreme as in fascism or communism. I mean even sort of like momentum versus, the Bullingdon set. People are sort of programmed and unable and unwilling to ever query themselves. And that's why you get such buffoonery.
Yeah.
And selfishness and double standards.
I think
and
they've
hypocrisy.
got. I think they've got massive problems with this. That he's done this.
Oh, here we go. See, Joyce Bryson. Yeah. So now we're going to start to hear details. They're going to put meat on the bones of this, aren't they? He stayed in a different house, not with his parents. Okay. So I can already feel that might be what they're saying, and that might be the case. But let's look at how this story evolves and how the qualifications
So
come.
you get and jump into a car and you drive 250 miles when people were getting told off to drive to the park.
Precisely.
To their local park. So they need to fall on their sword. If they start now saying, oh, but it was kind of okay because he was in the car and he went da-da-da, they can't do that. Everything will unravel.
Steph, number 10 has just said it was essential travel. Baffling. They're going to do it, aren't
Let's
they?
have a look.
They're going to
They're gonna do it. They're gonna get out of it. Let's
They're
have a
going
look.
to try and
Let's
get
see
out
what
of
it
it.
says.
This government
gonna
is
be
so
funny.
profoundly out of step. Now, the other part of our headline is why are the Brits least happy about returning to work? You would have it told and thought by a number of these Tories that we are now addicted to furloughing and all that kind of stuff. But here's a problem, and I was talking to a friend about this. I think what the government has to hear here is this unwillingness to return to a workplace which is littered with 0-hour contracts. Cineworld, as an example, my interest is the movie business. So Picture House Cinemas and Cineworld Cinemas laid off the vast majority of their staff, bam, like that, gone. The employers had to try and sort of lobby their employers. They had no union support. They had no legal support. They were on 0-hour contracts. So despite some of them working for Cineworld for about 4 to 5 years. So if you've got no guarantee of loyalty from the state or the institution that you work for, why does the government query, not the fact that none of us want to go back to work. We do. But query the fact that there might be a bit of bloody depression and anxiety because actually we might go back to work, but we haven't got a guarantee that we're going to be looked after. Now, I'm not arguing for a communist or socialist state, but there is a place for unions alongside big business. Protect workers' rights, protect employers' rights.
I think people are feeling very unprotected.
I think people feel very unprotected, not just medically, but financially. They feel financially unprotected. And so it's very easy for these it goes back to traditionally in the early Victorian era, 1900s, before the welfare state. Tories used to say things like, oh, the deserving poor versus the undeserving poor. Like there's some kind of distinction. And we're going to get back to that. There's the deserving sort of people to look after and the undeserving. And if you don't feel supported or safe in your work, many, many people in this period of time have been encouraged to ask questions about what the meaning of their lives are in society. And then you say to them, you're lazy, you're addicted to furloughing. I think it's an absolute fucking outrage. That's my anger.
He's done.
I'm done.
Well, so Downing Street are being accused of a cover-up. This is in The Guardian. Number 10 knew he had made the 264-mile journey after developing symptoms. Opposition party have called for the Prime Minister to sack him. Durham Constabulary spoke to Cummings' family to remind them of the lockdown rules after receiving reports on the 31st of March. But Downing Street are saying that the police didn't speak to him. But the police are saying they did.
Here we go. Here's the spin machine. Can we all feel the spin machine is going to start to just try and knock the edges of things?
Downing Street has repeatedly refused to answer questions from The Guardian over a number of weeks. So they've known about this for a while. It broke its silence on Saturday to offer the following explanation. So they've been asked about this for weeks by journalists and they've only now just answered it. Owing to his wife being infected with suspected coronavirus and the high likelihood that he would himself become unwell, it was essential for Dominic to ensure his young child could be properly cared for. His sister and nieces had volunteered to help, so he went to the house near to but separate from his extended family in case their help was needed. At no stage was he or his family spoken to by the police about this matter. His actions were in line with coronavirus guidelines. Mr. Cummings believes he behaved reasonably and legally.
So what you're going to get now, is this kind of knocking of the edges.
True.
Well, it might be.
But if that's true, that is fair enough. If his wife was ill with coronavirus, he's working with the government. If she'd become very ill and unable to look after the children, I don't see anything wrong with him taking the children where they could be looked after.
So should it not have been dealt with more candidly and upfront before this story has been? It's that thing of
the only thing that
why is the defence only coming in now?
The thing that I find odd is if they've been asked over a number of weeks.
Yeah, rubbish. We were told if you had symptoms, stay at home.
No, but it's saying here that his wife had symptoms.
Yeah, all household, everyone in the household.
Actually, you're supposed to stay in for 14 days.
If you or I, we kept talking about this, if you or I got ill, we would all have to stay in the house.
But what if you haven't got anyone to look after the children? I'm trying to be fair here.
Yeah, but that was the dilemma we were all facing as a country. None of us knew. We were all going, what do we do with the kids if we're both upstairs fucking ill? So
the Prime Minister has spoken out and said it was reasonable.
Can I just say something on that note? Just on that note that Boris has spoken out. Have you seen Boris as quick as this on other stuff as soon as the story hits the press?
This is
funny
incredible.
That he's willing to come out very quickly about his
news.
mate Dominic Cummings with such a detailed and personalised response, but can't even be seen at the bloody press.
So they're definitely saying that his wife was infected and with suspected coronavirus, and there was a high likelihood that he would. But you're right, guys. We have been told categorically that if someone in your household has it, you have to...
Hygiene Kyle.
You have to isolate for 14 days. This is going to go on and on this.
I just think it's telling. It's just telling that Boris comes out that quickly, but he won't answer questions about tracing and contact tracing and all that kind of stuff. Jobs for the boys. Of course it is, Jane Frill. Whatever the kind of mitigating circumstances are, it was clear to all of us.
So now the journalists are saying, are asking Downing Street if they believe the police have been lying. Oh. How are Downing Street going to say the police have been lying?
Oh.
He must resign.
The whole household needs to isolate. You're right, Kate. Mundo Desconhecido.
And also, he's been questioned, why would Mr. Cummings choose to self-isolate with his elderly parents who are in the vulnerable category?
It is depressing, Mundo. It is all depressing. But here's the thing. There are lots of stories in the press today
I'm
about...
going to find some good news.
Yeah, well, the good news is that there are a lot of stories in the press today predicting that, you know, there are going to be 0 deaths for certain days
Yes.
come June.
Yes, but a lot, aren't they?
Yeah, and various models, I think one's in Singapore, one from Oxford University, suggesting that certainly London might be able to come out of lockdown. And obviously people don't need to think, oh, great for London, but it's because London got hit first, didn't it? So eventually a new reality might be able to return. I mean, I thought 1 on the Nando's peri-peri hot scale of virus disease was never going to be achievable, but part of me is beginning to think that it could be. But of course, what do we all make of the quarantine? Do we think the quarantine rules are a coherent thing or not? Do you think we need the quarantine rules? I did see the Biden's gaffe. I mean,
What an idiot.
what an absolute moron.
How can you be that tone deaf?
What a moron.
Oh dear, that was so embarrassing.
I'm sure he would excuse it as feeling like he was being straight. I think he was
I mean-
he was on a radio program, wasn't he? That it was an African-American, was it, radio host, and I don't know what was he trying to say. I mean, it was just, but it was so ludicrous.
No, but do you... okay, let's be fair, because I want the world to be less judgy. He's how old? 75?
Well, he's older than Trump.
75?
Can you believe that the candidatures for the presidency this year made Trump the youngest?
But do you not think
Saunders
he was trying to be down with the kids?
Yes, but that's my point. Don't try.
But now he's going to be accused of being racist, and he's probably not racist. He probably just doesn't understand that language now is not acceptable.
Yeah, he's 78. He's 78.
I mean, 78.
Running for
I
president.
mean, think of all the people that we know that are in their late 70s and all the things that they say that are un-PC.
To tell you what, though, if my nan ran for president, she'd have been, oh my God, she'd have been...
Sometimes we used to be terrified, things she used to say.
So embarrassing.
Have you got an old person like that where you literally go, oh my God,
Sometimes I wanted to put a sack
that.
on her head and drag her out of out of restaurants. It was so embarrassing. Zoe Agnew, you're starting to feel more hopeful, darling. I think we are
really am.
in a bit,
Zoe,
in a way.
did you read the piece from Professor Supta Guntra that we were talking about yesterday? Read it on unheard.com. It's really, really giving me hope. I feel like I've got a great big weight has been lifted off my shoulders, and actually the only thing I'm worrying really about now, not about the virus, I'm not worrying about the virus, I'm worrying about how we get the economy back on its feet. And I do think, I'm starting to think more and more that we've just got to stick our heads out the door, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, Steph, today would have been her wedding day.
Oh.
Oh, but think how amazing your wedding day is going to be. Everybody's going to cry more. Everybody's going to feel more. And when you do eventually do it, everything that we've missed, 18th birthdays, 50th birthdays, you know, weddings. I mean, I was at my first funeral on Thursday, Zoom funeral. We don't want that to be the way moving forward. We really don't. We really don't. And that's something. And I felt really sad because a funeral is something that you can never have back. But all this other stuff that we've missed, we can, and we can make the most of it. I think everything will feel so much.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, can you imagine the first time we just go to a restaurant and order a cold drink?
I mean, I'm desperately excited about it.
It's going to feel so incredible.
Yeah. And I do think it's going to come it's going to come quicker than we think. I genuinely do. I think it's going to come quicker than we think.
I do. Me and Mark are really, really hopeful. Stick with us. We believe. But we're also really mindful. We've been talking about this morning. And actually, I just had a phone call with my eldest sister, Dina, about this. It's what we all have to do now is think about how difficult it is for some people to go back to the thing that they didn't love.
Well, that's what we're talking about here. Why the Brits? I think the story for me
what you were saying a bit earlier
is why the Brits. People keep talking about the Brits being lazy or haven't got addicted to furloughing. You know, no. What's happening is there's a huge malaise.
Of people going, why do I do this job that I hate? Why am I with
no
this
return.
boss that is awful? Why am I travelling 5 hours a day? Why do my kids come home and have 3 hours homework? Why do I have to get up at 5:30 every morning? Why am I always exhausted? Why do I never just get to sit with my partner or sit with my kids or go for a walk? All those things that because we're just constantly like working because we have to buy more things, because we need more things, because we're sold more things.
Faith Goodman asked a really good question about theatre and cinema. I do think we're at a tipping point now that unless things start to And if the statistics is stuff that we can lean on, and if there isn't a second peak in the next sort of 7 to 8 days, I think is when I estimated if we saw any sort of noticeable lift, it would be. Say we get towards the end of May and there isn't an uplift and it starts to go down. I do think we may need to move quite quickly, because theatre and cinema, we are looking at a long-term structural destruction of certain sectors, the aviation, tourism, all these kind of things. And because even with reduced capacity, many of those institutions and organisations can't survive. Hotels can't survive, theatres can't survive. You know, you need most businesses run on a margin that requires them to fill their seats, fill their rooms, and not observe the social distancing, and fill tables, sittings, and all that kind of stuff.
Shelley Moss, how interesting. Shelley Moss just said, I'm a professional declutterer, and everyone's decluttered.
Oh, right.
God, all those jobs that you think about that will have got... My God, I never thought of that.
Yes.
We bloody haven't.
Well, no, we're about to, though. I'm actually decluttering the garden at the moment. But what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, in terms of the order of play today, so it's a slightly different thing today. We're supporting Lionsgate's NHS fundraise tonight. They're on the Lionsgate UK YouTube channel. They're playing Hunger Games, which is one of our favourite franchises. And we're going to be watching that on our Instagram accounts, not for the full duration because we fall out of sync, but do come and join us on the Popcorn Junkies Instagram account, Nadia Sawalha and Family, and Mark_Adderley. We'll be bouncing between them, won't we? We're going to do a little bit of a live, we'll do a little bit of a chat afterwards, like we did after Eddie the Eagle, but the main live tonight will be Nadia's version of what I did last night, where you're talking about...
Yes, instead of the quiz tonight.
And it worked quite nice late. I mean, I know if we're not too tired, maybe have a kip, because it was there was something quite comforting about the time.
Well, I was just thinking, because 8 o'clock is when we usually do the quiz, but we could do it later.
Well, it's between 6 and 8 is the Hunger Games, so we have to...
And then we do the review.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Do it at 10:30?
Yeah, I think a bit later in the evening, then people have got something to look forward to. It's very meaningful.
Okay, so I'm going to do a Q&A on emotional eating, how I'm still a nut job, but the things that I've used to be a bit of a less of a nut job.
Xander Gibb has just made a really brilliant suggestion. And I have to say, Xander, you bring all sorts of humour and funny takes on things. But Xander's just said, could we have a section, I think we should feature this in the Sunday show, where the subscribers ask your dad questions for a Teddy Talks one week.
Oh, I love that.
And we'll ask them. We'll name check you, and we'll ask the questions, and we get your dad to answer them.
That.
I think that would be really interesting.
And also from this week, because we've been so busy, we've been so busy, we've had very little time to answer comments. Yeah. And so I'm going to get back to answering comments like we did in the early days. Yeah. Lisa Majuto! Lisa Majuto! Lisa, shall I...
Lisa, do you want to stroke my avocado? I didn't get you a present, Lisa, but you can avocado.
Lisa, we have to talk today. So what I'm going to get back to is answering your messages. Not all of them, I just can't, it's too overwhelming, but under vlogs, and certainly under the No Name Sunday show, I'm going to make a real effort to answer a lot more of you, because we were really good at that up until lockdown, really, but we have got a bit overwhelmed.
Well, it's just so much content going out, then it becomes so... But Claire LC, I'm delighted that you bought an Acer, a red one. Aren't they beautiful Acers of the new way forward? And I've been in the garden
today. Can you watch the vlog yesterday?
Oh,
because it's so funny. If
funny.
you need a good laugh this morning, watch the vlog from yesterday. I promise you will laugh. We have made such tits of ourselves. It's an embarrassment. I mean, do you know what? Pats on our back, pat yourself, pat me, that we put that out, because a lot of people wouldn't, because it's so shame.
Put what out? Oh, right, yeah, sorry.
We look like shit.
We look like
total
shit.
arse of ourselves.
We smelt, you could see we smelt. It was just awful.
Suzanne Stone, my nan is 96 and every day is precious with her. I've lost...
Yeah, going to have to come much further up. There you go.
Precious to us, and I've not seen her since February. I don't want the last time I see her was then. It preys on my mind constantly.
Promise you, things are going to be changing. Now, you're right. How are things going to change for our most elderly? But I think if we can drive this disease down to virtually nothing, there may even be hope for us to be able to sort of hang out with our elders.
We've got to find a way.
Yeah, we have to.
I mean, there is no way. I mean, my sister called me this morning and she said that she went to Tesco's at 6, and she said it was just the strangest thing, but she said you can feel they've given up a bit, so they're not making people go around one way. But she said people are dashing and terrified. She said, but there was lots of elderly people in there. And I said, but from when we think of Nanny Thelma, her day out to Sainsbury's once a week was everything to her, because she got to go on the bus, she'd talk to people, she'd go and she'd have a look at all the different bits and pieces, she could chat to people. We can't lock them up forever.
No. And also, I think you're going to get an
can't.
elderly revolt. I think we're going to have lots of people with Zimmer frames charging down streets, banging on doors saying, get me in there and hug the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
Aren't they? That's what my Nanny Thelma would have done. She'd
we
have wrestled us to the floor and used an ice cream scoop to scoop your heart out.
I think we're going to get to a stage where we're allowed to go and see our elderly, but we have to have masks.
Yeah, body condoms.
Body condoms. And, you know, and I really, you know, well, anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, look, guys, so look, you've got the vlog, which is a treat. Go and check that out.
Please watch it.
And you've got
It
the
was really
mental
good.
health chat last night, which was really useful for me, and I hope for others. So
Yeah,
shout
and
out
with those-
Darren Boy. Hello, hope you're
Hi,
well.
Darren Boy. And with those mental health chats, it doesn't matter if you didn't catch them live, because I think you cover so many different things that people are worrying about that can be a real help.
Yeah, I'm going to
I've got to go and cook profiterolls now. For the No Name Sunday show tomorrow
my heart out.
is our 20th show. So
20?
so it's going to be a bit special. So if anyone wants to join the members area, you have 21-hour shows you can watch.
That's almost a day of content.
Yeah. It's £1.99 a month, because
Just put my teeth.
I haven't really explained this for a long while. Mark and I work on this practically full time now, and so we have to earn something from it. So by keeping as much content on the main channel, like we've taken nothing from the main channel to put on the members area, we feel really we feel good about that.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
actually are providing a lot. But if you want to join the members area, it's £1.99 a month, and nothing will ever be taken from you. So if you're just happy on the main channel, that's fine.
And we'll never be charging more. It's
And
not
I
like
think
that.
most people say that they love that £1.99.
Yeah.
They think it's worth it, don't you? Nicola Randall, £1.99 spent honestly. For us to be able
I've
to
signed up to it.
for us to be able to maintain this level of filming and editing and work, we had to find a way to make it fair. So
Yeah, just
I
to
hope people
compensate
feel
that time.
good about that. And we look forward to seeing you later.
See you later.
on.
So yeah, Hunger Games. Check our Instagrams, because there's.
Oh yeah, we're going to film something funny in the garden.
Yeah. We're going to try and think of something like my stupid Eddie the Eagle in front of the
Did
screen.
anyone see the Eddie the Eagle last?
Yeah.
Make sure you follow Mark on
I don't know what you're about to say. What you're about to
your
say?
Instagram. 'Cause
Mark
we might,
underscore Adderley?
No, might we be doing something from your Instagram
Which one?
for Hunger Games?
The Popcorn Junkies.
Yeah, do you want your one or the
Yeah, but you
Popcorn
were saying-
Junkies? That's what I'm asking
The
you.
Popcorn Junkies.
Yeah, so follow Mark's The Popcorn Junkies Instagram page. It's such a brilliant Instagram page. He puts so much work in it. I'm the only one that sees what he does.
Well,
He
no, I mean,
spends
I just like to keep
ages
people across what's
tailoring
going
it.
on.
He puts loads of gorgeous photos of the films, lots that you might not have seen. He writes such a lovely chunk, proper, not just
Well, it's been we've offset the lack of film content on this channel, because this channel started out as a bit of a movie channel, and you know there are no movies being made at the moment or released. So,
yeah, so if you can follow that Instagram and share it with people, I really would love it, because he won't say this, but I just think he really deserves to be followed on it, because he puts his heart and soul into it. And we will be doing a little bit of live on that and a little bit live on the family one today later.
all right, yeah, no, that'd be good. We did that
Yeah.
last week. It was fun. All right, guys.
Lots of love,
Lots
guys.
of love. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.